So the other kind of main element in this drop is all these sort of background noisy layers. Cool. We got a couple layers. This is a sample of noise with a formant filter on it, I think. Sounds like it's getting freaking crunched up. Huh. Guess what? It is by our friend Flutter. You can tell that I'm doing a lot of stuff to try to make this sound super distorted, and I am distorting it. You saw that it's like, can't go too far without running into one of these guys. But I'm also doing all this stuff to sort of make the sub feel... Really quick, let me just show you what I'm talking about, because I keep referring to this as a concept. The thing that's happening, maybe you've seen it, maybe you know. Who doesn't like a review? So if I were to take some noise and a sub, and I distort these together, if I played this for you and I said, is this distorted? You'd probably say, yeah. And I'd say, cool. But besides seeing this on here and knowing that it's a sine wave, you can see all these added harmonics up here. If I just played you this sound, I said, is this distorted? And you said, yeah, but you didn't know anything about the sound. And I said, well, how do you know? What would you say? Think about it. One of the things that makes this sound distorted is what's happening with the noise versus the sub here. Check this out. Metaphor alert. Imagine you got me, a guy who's 6'6", and you put me in a box that is just a little bit bigger than me. Imagine you put someone else in the box with me. Imagine they're really small. If you put them in the box with me, it's crowded in here. I'm way bigger than them. Anything I do in the box, if I'm in here wiggling around, doing my dancey dance, they're going to be forced to move in the same way that I'm moving because I'm so much bigger than them. In this context, think of big guy, me, I'm the sine wave, white noise is the little guy, you, and then the box is the distortion. Whatever this is doing, because it's getting smushed inside of the distortion, this little guy is going to get forced to move in the same way that this guy's moving around. I can show that to you by making this move a lot more slowly. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? So this is basically, it's having its volume, amplitude, turned up and down, modulated. It's getting AM'd, amplitude modulated, basically. So we can sort of simulate that. I could even turn this down completely, use it as a source of modulation. Say oscillator A is going to modulate the volume of the noise. And if we make sure that that is going unidirectional, that's the thing. And what's cool about it is that as opposed to it just being this static modulation, just like throwing on an LFO that you've set to be at the same frequency as your subnote, the rate that this is getting modulated at will change as the pitch of your sub changes. So it'll follow along and sound much more similar to if you were actually distorting the noise with a sub bass. So if I move this up, and what's cool is that if I were to change this to like a different wave shape, keep in mind, this is turned down all the way. We're just using it basically as an LFO. It's an O. Perhaps not an LFO, but it's an O. If we were to make this really low again, you're going to be able to hear there's more of like a And also, this is a great way to hear the influence that the phase position has on a thing. You can hear that if I start it from the middle, there's going to be sort of initial sort of like before we start this longer. So it goes because it's starting right there. If we were to have this starting right at the beginning, it's going to start with that long down. What's neat is that you can do this with a lot of different parameters. Something that I like to do is take just a square wave. Let's put an absolute peak. And I'll distort that. Cool. What if we made that? Move it sorry for cussing, at the speed or the frequency and the shape of our sub. So right click, mod source, sub oscillator. Make sure it's going in unidirectional. Now let's do it on just the high end of this. We're peaking, we're distorting. I'm gonna do that. Are we clipping? Yeah, you can fix that though. Anyway, shout out to that sub thing. Circling back, we got this formant noise. that has flutter on it, and that is sidechained to my sub. We got some guy thinking he's cool by automating this FFT low pass thing. But what I'm doing is the input of the plugin is getting modulated. Actually, is it? It's actually not. How am I doing that? Oh, am I? Oh, okay, cool guy. I'm using this I'm using this envelope follower. So there's the sidechain input for this guy. So that affects how strong the effect is. And then this is the filter that gets applied to whatever the signal is that you're sidechained to. When it opens up, it's letting more of the high end into it, but I just have it going down so low that it isn't doing anything. I'm doing this in an effort to sort of like make it have a sense of reacting dynamically to the sub. This is what this sounds like without flutter on it. For a baby who doesn't distort. Come on now. What's this doing? We're widening. Look, you starting to see some patterns here? I am. Beyond that, what do we got? Some tonal noise. Probably doing something similar here. Hate to break it to you. Yeah, but in a different way. Same idea, but using the kilohertz ring mod, which can perform a similar function. If I turn off this ring mod, we're just getting little bits of crunch throughout to sort of try to imbue a sense of general clippiness and distortiness where the sub is just going to town on everything. So we got that. The main thing to me is this noisy riff layer. The very first thing that I came up with when putting this song together was what the lead is doing, the ha 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 ha, and then this noisy riff thing. What I did was, I think I used just like one of these tonal noise settings in the sampler inside Serum. I might have played it in MIDI or something and then chopped it up. Can't remember exactly how I did it. And if we listen to that just by itself, which also this is getting sidechain. What's it sound like without the sidechain? The sidechain's doing a lot of heavy lifting here in terms of just like the groove of the thing. Okay, the little flickink. But something cool that I had the idea to do, because I liked that, but I wanted it to have more texture. So what I ended up doing, I had this whole folder of like glitchy Foley sort of things. I just grabbed a bunch of them and put them on here. I took this gate and I sidechained it to the original noisy thing. And so now this guy is only going to be making sound when this guy plays. So all this sort of random noisiness will play, but it will be closely following this. So this only makes sound when that makes sound. Without it. With it. Here they are together without the gate on. Messy with the gate on. Cool. And then I think I have one more layer that's also doing that. Ooh, this one's a little bubbly. Without the gate. With the gate. All three together. And then if we listen to that with the drums, just for a sense of the groove, no sidechain. Which you can hear there's some sort of like clashy things rhythmically, but that's sort of part of the kind of like swing of the thing. But we're hearing that because the sidechain isn't happening. If we get the sidechain going. Yeah, it just feels like some nonsense. But in context, it all kind of comes together in a way that somehow feels like a song. There's some other sections in the song. If anyone is interested in seeing how those were put together, I got this more sort of like techno, hard groove, hard techno. I don't know. I'm still learning. But got that, got this. Got this. Happy to go over any of those things as well. Let me know in the comments below. If you like learning about stuff like this, Feel free to join the Discord that I run with some other former Icon Collective instructors. We do office hours. We do mentor sessions. We do feedback sessions. You can join for free. Come through. I'll put the link in the thing. Stream this song if you like it. If you don't, avoid it. Feel free to hit me up if you have any questions about any of this stuff. Don't be a stranger. Thanks for hanging out. What a pleasure.